Hello. Hello. This is a pepper shaker. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to look at the camera and on my phone. Camera's down here and say it is February 28th, 2014, and I am going to do three things today. First, I'm going to tell you what I've read in February. Second, I'm going to tell you what I'm planning to read in the month of March. And third, I'm going to tell you about the Calendar Classics challenge for the month of March. And just for kicks, I'm also going to give you my awkward self. Yes, that just comes free, it's like bonus awkward. Yes. So in the month of February, first, and I've mentioned this in the previous video, I finished Dracula because I had not finished it by the time that I filmed my January wrap-up. So I finished that, and then I went right into reading the February Classic Challenge because it was 4 pages, and that was The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. So I did that, and yes, so moving on from this, I had set myself another challenge for the month of February, along with continuing to reread one chapter a day of A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I'm currently just past the halfway mark today. So I've been reading one chapter per day. So along with these challenges, I also told myself I will get through. I had like 5 books left from my pre-December TBR pile, and I wanted to get through those, so I did. The first 2 was rereading / listening to Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and The Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. And I missed this. I hadn't read them in so long. I think I read them. Last time I read them was when Deathly Hallows came out, which was in 2007. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe I should set a date and reread the whole series every year just to make up for it. I don't know. Just because I want to. So I did that, and then I had 3 books. 3? When I went to school, didn't I? 3, 4. Okay. I had 3 books left. And so the first one was The Power of 6 by Pythias Lore. Well, by Pythias Lore. And I've had it for, I don't know, 1-2 years when it first came out, I think. And the whole time I've been telling myself whether I'm going to keep reading this series hinges on how much I like this book. And basically, I probably will keep reading it, but whether or not I buy the books, that depends. Maybe if they're on sale at one point, maybe I'll pick them up. I don't know. But I'm not in a rush. So I read this, and then right after that, I read probably my favorite thing that I read this month, just because of how much it made me feel happy, and I laughed, audibly laughed, which is just weird, especially if I'm reading next to my parents. And that was Shada by Gareth Roberts, The Lost Adventure by Douglas Adams, because this was supposed to be a story for Doctor Who, written by Douglas Adams, but it never happened. And if you're curious about classic Doctor Who, seriously, I love this. Go get it. Yes. And after this, which probably suffered a little bit by how much I enjoyed the previous thing that I read, and also because I wasn't sure because there's been mixed reviews the whole time, I read The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, and I'm going to tell you, I almost gave up at one point. It was about 80 something pages, and I was I don't know if I'm going to keep reading this, and I'm so glad that I kept going. It's not exactly what I guess I might have expected. They're swearing. It's just, I told my family, it's like when you see a child actor for the first time in an adult role, and they start swearing and drinking, doing whatever, and you're what just happened? But after a while, you get used to it. But yeah, so I did actually enjoy this in the end, and I think I'm going to reread it at some point. Like with hindsight, like those first 80 something pages. I was tired too, which didn't help, but anyway. So I read those, and with that, I had completed my challenge of finishing my old TBR pile. Yes, but the month was not done, so I kept going, which involved a trip to the library because, I don't know, it's not like I don't have enough books at home, right? So I went to the library because I could not buy books this month, and I really wanted to try and get into Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. And I am so glad that I did. I just finished this morning. Like, I want to finish it before I started filming. And I now know why Jessie the Reader read this 5 times, because it is awesome. And I can't wait to have my own copy so I can reread it myself. And so now that I finished this today, actually, and I probably won't finish it today because it's like nearly 400 pages, but I'm going to try and get this much done as I can because I really want to go and on the internet and see if people have made art. I don't know. That's how I work now. But I can't go in there. I can't go on Tumblr and go search things out because I might get spoilers. And of course, you see where I'm going with this. It is Hollow City, the sequel, which I went to. Like, there's like one copy in all of the libraries in Montreal. I can go to any library in Montreal and get books. That's how it works. But this book only had one, and it was an hour and a half away from my house. But I went there yesterday and I got it. So now I'm going to read it. And yeah, so I'm going to read that today / probably in the start of March. And so now let's talk about what I'm going to read in March. And so my challenge this time is I have one last thing to get through that I want to get through before I dedicate myself completely to the books that I got in December, which is I've got like 9 ebooks on my iPad. They're all Italian translations that I got after graduation, and then I've actually read them. But yeah, so I have the Hunger Games trilogy in Italian, and I have the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, again in Italian. So I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get through all of those. Like, the Hitchhiker's Guide are short, but, you know, the Hunger Games might take me a couple of days each, especially since they're not in English, and it's been a while since I've read Italian. But yeah, so I'm planning to get through those, and then if I've got more time, along with the calendar classic for March, which I will talk about in a second, my plan is, and obviously since part of this is tied to the library, I will have a sort of a like deadline. I'm probably going to read these after I read Hollow City, and that is Legend by Marie Lu. I want to make some kind of fanfare like Legend, and then my voice gave out. Yeah, so obviously, if you can tell, I only have 2 of them physically. The third one is non-physical. It's an ebook. But, yeah, this was mine. This one belongs to the library. So, and there's already a reservation on it. So I'm not going to be able to keep it for more time than I have it right now. Which I can't remember when it is. I think it's like, let's check. Oh, there it is. March 13th. So I have like about 2 weeks left. So this is probably what I'm going to get into after Hollow City, and then I'm going to have my challenge with the Italian books, and then I have the March challenge, which is War of the Worlds, which I want to say H.G. Wells. I don't know, I can't remember. And yeah, so I'm going to read this month. Maybe I'm going to do like a chapter a day. Like I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to read my chapter of Game of Thrones and my chapter of War of the Worlds. I don't know. So yeah, that's the challenge for March. And if you want to do it with me, go ahead. Please, by all means. And if you've read either Dracula or The Telltale Heart with me, sort of, tell me. I'd like to know if anybody out there is just, So I'm gonna go now because I have writing and reading to do. And yeah. Fingers, 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 fingers. Where's the button?